Oh darn. Eh, y'all throw me out of bounds on that one. I didn't know I was live on here. So well, pre-recorded on YouTube. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to WFSO Aftermath Special. And I know I didn't say this in any of the videos today, but Memorial Day, we think about the fallen soldiers that died in the war. What all the wars that we were been to, and yeah, it's kind of like crazy and confusing and everything at the same time. Cause like I think my wife had played a video that was talking about that it was a woman, like I guess like her husband died due to committed suicide. Yeah, and she does. Yeah, PTSD. Yup. So she says she doesn't celebrate Memorial Day because it's like who they fighting for. It's like they're not fighting for the freedom. They fighting for the rich. Oil. Yeah, the war is not about oil. Yes, it is. Of course it is. It always is. About oil. Right. Like what they're trying to do, like take everything of the oil and while still try to raise high prices on gas. I don't know. It's just crazy. So I just thought I'd share that part. But for anybody that lost somebody during battle or anything like that, we're gonna dedicate this episode to you and to your families as well. So I guess we can get started. So we can. Oh, okay. I went too far. I thought they. Oh yeah, that's when you do the It's like when you do like the preview talking about the show and you get to read from the bottom, but here I got mirrors from the top to the bottom. So good thing I did like get in time to watch the countdown Under Siege. Trying to juggle watching that and SmackDown at the same time, which is like always gonna happen. Yeah, more Rosemary and Zaya Brookside, and finally, Brookside snap, whips her with a belt, and end up getting disqualified. So Rosemary won by disqualification, and I guess you kind of see what Rosemary was trying to bring out of her, but I don't know. They still gonna be cool after that, so who knows? So that was that one. Then let's see. Okay, now it's live, and the kickoff, the actual pay-per-view, AJ Francis, but it ended up being switched, and it ended up being KZ Navarro fighting for AJ Francis going against Mike Santana. But yeah, I guess it was just his way to try to get under Mike Santana's skin. So he had KZ Navarro fight for him, and good match. And you thought KZ Navarro was about to shake Mike Santana's hand because he did offer a handshake. Then out of nowhere, AJ Francis, oh, I'm healed, and ended up just start beating Mike Santana. Then they start stomp on him, and KZ Navarro at first was confused. Then AJ Francis is like, stomp on him, man. He did, and I don't know. Are they thinking of splitting up the first class? Because it didn't start with AJ Francis and KZ Navarro. It started with AJ Francis and Rick Swann, which wrestling independence right now, but he's haven't been back to TNA yet, so don't know what's going on with that. Anyways, you might just say career-ending match. You got Eddie Edwards going against Cody Deaner. If Cody Deaner do not win this match, his contract is done. So yeah, kind of sucks. I don't know if they planned, like a if it's just a storyline or this is like there is a storyline, but added like some real things like going on. So maybe a couple of interference that happened with also with Alicia Edwards like interfering, and I think I'm trying to think, was there anybody else that interfered? It was just sis Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, I knew that Eddie Edwards did cheat to beat him, but just like they could have have him win, but I did pick them to win and I was wrong. And yeah, what more can you do? Like I said, matches with TNA, they unpredictable. So yeah, but yeah, Cody Deaner's career is over and Eddie Edwards did beat him. So it kind of sucks. So the rest of the system came out and started making fun of Cody Deaner and insults Canada, which they were at for this show. Northern Artery came out and defend Cody Deaner. Then Eric, I know Eric Young that came out too with him, but I think it was end up being six man tag. I thought so. So Northern Army went against when he gets the system, I'm sorry, it was Moose, Brian Myers, and JDC. But Eric Young, Judas Icarus, and Travis Williams did win that 6 man match. So yeah, it was interesting. You thinking that Northern Army would be heels, but then again, they in Canada, and why not? Had them win. Um, this match with Daniel Lula and Joey Threat, Jody Threat, I'm sorry, putting their tag team on the line against trying to win the tag titles against Ash and Heather by Elegance, and yeah, it was the match by Elegance. It might as well just say it's kind of like a somewhat of a hardcore match. Um, so yeah, it has some interesting moments on there, so ain't gonna lie about that. But sadly, with the interference of the concierge and Maggie Lee, Spitfire did lose the match and they had to disband. So Jody Threat and Danny Luna are going their separate ways. It was good while it lasted, but at least they won the tag titles. I think they won it twice, I believe. So yeah. So of course now the four with Mustafa Ali, good, great hands. Now they call themselves, normally it's good hands, and Tasha Steele. Now they call the Order 4. So they're going against the Rascals, India Hartwell, and in a surprise, partner. So I was saying, like, if it was going to be somebody new, they're going to, the Rascals, Indy Hartwell, and that person was going to win. If it was just like a returning person, I think the Order 4 was going to win. So, and yeah, the Order 4 did. So Ace Austin was taken out of that match and was out of action, and the real reason why he was out, because his contract did expire. So I don't know what they're gonna do, like any renegotiations or something with Austin, Ace Austin. Who knows? But yeah, but it was Champagne Zine, but he called himself Rod Scene now. He the one that came in like surprised, because you think at one point he was gonna end up joining the with the Older Fork, since he was like help out with Mustafa Ali at one point. So nope, he decided to team with the Rascals and Henry Arwell, to go after them. So it was kind of like a chaos, and it was a good match. It would have been up there with match of the night too. It would have been up there. So yeah, the match was good, and couldn't complain about that. But yep, the Older 4 somehow end up winning, and I think at one point, I think what was it that Mustafa Ali ended up attacking Indy Hartwell. So yeah, that was crazy. Oh yeah, and that you can tell that moment was good too. So I will let y'all know my match of the night for this pay-per-view in a bit, but I think this was in the running, but I could be wrong. So I just got to remember like all the matches that I was watching. So anyways, TNA International Champion Steve Macklin, of course, sent a message to his challenger Matt Cardona, which they decided to do it on Thursday on Impact instead of that Friday night. So this didn't do this had turned for the worse because I was explaining like in the minute, but I was wrong about this match too. I thought Ariana Grace, with her return was gonna like win the match, but nope, she didn't. And although she hadn't wrestled in months, and she didn't show no ring rust, so still good as she can be. But Tessa Blanchard did end up winning. And I think the crazy thing was, Ariana Grace had to be out there, by herself. Santina was right there. Then Robert Stone was saying that, you can't be out there. You're not a licensed manager, and blah 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 blah. So Santino couldn't be out there, but he can. Just crazy. But back and forth match, it was cool. But yeah, Chester Blanchard did win, and I think most likely what happened because she was supposed to wrestle yesterday, she ended up getting injured. And I think it probably was during that match. So of course Santino came out after the match, and Robert Stone had security remove him from ringside. So kind of stupid. So don't get that at all. But anyways, then you got the Knockouts Championship match. You got Masha Slamovich defending against Victoria Crawford. I did get this one right, and Masha Slamovich did retain. Cause like I said, like anything could have happened, but it was some times it was close to Victoria Crawford like winning, and she didn't miss a step either, so that's a good thing. But yeah. Masha Slamovich did retain, so good for her. And I guess she's going to defend the title again this Thursday against Liane Lee, because she the one came out to challenge Masha after she was calling for a challenge. So they're going to fight for the title this Thursday on Impact. So why not? Of course, they was playing homage to Sabu. Rest in peace to him. If y'all didn't know, he did die. I think it was like a week or two ago, and they still didn't say anything about the cause of what happened to him just yet. So we probably won't gonna know that for like the upcoming weeks. This was a good match too. So it was like right up there with being match of the night. So yeah, the Nemesis, of course, defended the titles against Matt Hardy and Leon Slater. We thought, it was gonna switch around, and I knew I was right, but I was just hoping to be wrong, but I wasn't. So yeah, yep, the Nemesis did retain against Matt Hardy and Leon Slater, so they were a good team together. So yeah, maybe you'll see more of this team more often. Jeff couldn't show up there. Couldn't tour in Canada, but y'all probably already know why, so ain't no need for me to say anything. So next. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Santino Marrero, he wants a match against Robert Stone, and so we'll see what happens with that. So will it be this Thursday on Impact, or will it be on their next event, which would be Against All Odds, which is like 2 weeks away from no, actually it'll be a week away from this Friday. So yeah, and I guess that's their spacing that out between that and Slammiversary, since Slammiversary is like one of their big 4 pay-per-views. So yeah. And the main event ended up being, the tag match with Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry and Elijah. But yeah, it was still a good match, and the ending of it, Joe Hendry and Elijah did beat Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian. I think it was one point that Trick decided he was going to leave and let Frankie like handle it himself, but both Elijah and Joe Hendry end up, attacking them both, bringing them back in the ring, I should say. So, yeah, it was some good spots in there, and very good. Yeah, and Joe Hendry pinned Kazarian with the 3 count. So, Joe Hendry and Elijah did defeat Trick Williams and freaking Kazarian. So, Yeah, and that's pretty much it. But after looking back and stuff like that, I would have to say the match of the night was that 8-person tag because it had like some interesting spots. So I would have to say, yeah, it was the tag match. So of course this spot, but I would like play it, but I don't want to get in trouble by I probably won't get in trouble for it. But with Google, it's probably Google because I'm using like Google just to do this you know this video. So yep, that's what I think. The 8-person tag was match of the night. And let's see, from 1 to 10. Let's see, 1 to 10. Well, the X Division title wasn't defended, which it kind of should, and of course the new international championship wasn't defended either. So I think they did say that for Thursday, but I just thought they could have added in. But then again, from the match Steve Macklin had when it came to him and Eric Young, and it was like a bloodbath. So they probably just giving them a little bit of time off, and after that, so yeah, they fight this Thursday. So I'm gonna get this one actually a 8 out of 10 for the rating, 8 out of 10, and I'm gonna give it a grading maybe like a B minus. Yeah, I'll give it a B minus and rating it like an 8 out of 10. So yeah, so that's my thought on that, and I gotta say this one for later because I know I gotta talk about Border Wars. So let me see if they actually had at least the results on that one for that. Otherwise, we probably won't be able to talk about it that much. So yeah, I'm just surprised they didn't have it up. Like, of course, yup, it's probably been spoiled like with the it kind of sucks. So maybe I can do it this way. Could I go to events and look at the results? No, I cannot. But yeah, and won't be able to do it. But no, anyways, so so probably what I would do, I'll do this. TNA. It was yeah, Border Brawl. There we go. Maybe like a website where probably would have the results or something like that. So okay, 411 Mania will had to, oh okay, a lot of them will have the results. So let me just click that here and we will save that one for later. We're gonna just get to first with what was going on Saturday with Saturday night's main event. As y'all can tell, Cody did return. Towards the end of the event. So we can do the quick results and let's do it there. So they started with the tag match with Sami Zayn and CM Punk tagged up against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. I kind of said that the third member would be revealed. In my head, I was thinking it was going to be Bronson Reed, but I just wasn't sure because I don't know how long he was out, and we didn't know the timetable of his injury. So yeah, he came back and ended up squashing CM Punk and let Sami Zayn all alone. And I think Seth was the one that pinned. I think Seth was the one that pinned Sami. So okay, so yeah, okay. Braun Breaker gave him the spear. Seth pinned him 1, 2, 3, and after that, they start beating up both Sami Zayn and CM Punk. No, Jay couldn't have been out there because he has a title defense. So the next one is, I know a lot of people was complaining about certain parts of the match with this one, but people don't understand. When wrestlers, accidents are going to happen, and mistakes does happen. So I know she fumbled up with the 619, but imagine you doing that like almost every show. It's gonna be a point where you're gonna like screw up because from what I heard, that is the most difficult move to do, and it hurts on the hands. So I'm just saying for the people judging, like, wouldn't you try to do something like that and come back to us afterwards? Um, but yeah, otherwise, Selena Vega did retain her Women's United States Championship and did beat Chelsea Green. So maybe she probably would still be in line, because I think they got like two more qualifying matches for the women left for SmackDown, and I think they only got Julia in it so far. So they already did the men's. They only got to do one of the men's qualifier left, and maybe they can do two more on there. Then I know Raw gonna have like one more. I think one more women and one more men qualifier. Because we already know about what is it like Seth is in and from today and Penta is in. So I'm trying to think who else was in from Raw, or they do got one more match to go. But anyways, like I said, couldn't help just because they botched one move, as everybody called it botch, but it's just things happen. Can't be perfect every day. So I just don't get some mentalities of some people. So oh yeah, they did announce where they're gonna have the next Saturday night main event. Also they did announce the Great American Bash. I think that's probably gonna have that on a Tuesday. So that probably will be the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, and also besides Saturday night's main event, they also gonna have in Atlanta Evolution. So the returning of the all women's PLE, which they didn't have that show since I think what 2017, 2018 or something like that. So yeah, it's been a while, like nearly 10 years, nearly, but it's probably like 7 to 8 years since they actually like had their first one. So and there's some people that's out there, but it's like, oh, we didn't ask for that. You didn't ask for that, but everybody else did. And they're still gonna do good with the crowd and stuff like that. So, especially you're gonna have that 3-day event. Where you're gonna have Saturday night main events, then the Evolution PLE. Then after that you're gonna have 2 days later you're gonna have NXT's Great American Bash. So, because last year they did it as a pay-per-view, but I think they're just gonna do it as a as just on their a special event for their show. So yeah, so I wonder what changed for them to doing it last year then changing it this year, or it could be a case of they might show it the NXT Great American Bash during the day on Saturday. That's a possibility. And yeah, I did kind of like went off because it's like sucks that Milwaukee missed out on something again. Like we were supposed to have Money in the Bank. They end up giving to LA, and it might make sense if I think who's gonna win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. So you'll probably get it if you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, it's like we always like we prove we can sell out shows and stuff like that. We've done that for like the past few years when it comes to SmackDown. But I don't know if they saving for like a consolation thing, because normally they would talk about either SmackDown or Raw going to be in Milwaukee at least like around earlier in the year, but it was no announcement, so you just thinking like, what's going on? So only thing I can probably think of is they're thinking of doing something maybe have like a SmackDown on probably that first weekend of December, have a SmackDown, then had the NXT PLE what they call deadline, yeah. So maybe they have something with that. So So many, it's probably gonna be like a little bit of a trial run just to see how good we are when it comes to like a SmackDown, then like a special event coming on. So that's a possibility because like all the NXT's PLEs hasn't been fully announced yet. So we don't know. Most likely they probably ain't gonna do much in June because they probably gonna like combine all that with the World's Collide. No, they actually didn't. So that's gonna be a mystery. So see what they're gonna do with the PLE for June. So possibility. But anyways, yeah, Cena did beat R-Truth, and I was hoping R-Truth was gonna win, but I did like R-Truth coming out and like have his own shirts. It got himself naming Ron Cena. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, the match didn't last very long, and I was just really just hoping that at least because the belt wasn't on the line, why not have R-Truth beat him, and after that you can do like the likes of have him challenge for the tag titles, not tag titles, but the WWE Championship. Because I think he ain't had like a WWE title shot, like the main belt, since a while now. I don't know, but at his age, he's still doing good and still can pull a match off. So good for him. But yeah, it kind of sucks. But anyways, then you got the steel cage match, and I will tell y'all a story about Drew McIntyre in a minute. But Jesse the Body Ventura was on commentary for this match. He did not like the ending of that match, so it's like Priest did end up beating the crap out of Drew and ended with the chair shot with the other chair on the sides. Like how Edge and Christian used to do it, but something like that. Then he like was about to walk out the cage and about to hit his step. He was thinking about it for a second, like, should I beat him some more? And Jesse Ventura was like, wait a minute, what is this? And Priest didn't end up taking that final step and end up winning the match. It's like he won a match by escape, like open the cage door. Like yeah. Although I know you haven't been around like WWE for a while because your hatred for Vince McMahon, but yeah, it's been going on since was it like the last decade? You can like get the door open and close it. So yeah, so Jesse Ventura was not happy about that, but everybody else didn't care. That, and I think Pat McAfee was trying to explain that yeah, they were having this thing like that since since for like years now. So the thing was that Jesse was upset and didn't even like it. Then it's yeah, it was brutal. It was really brutal. So in my opinion, by just saying it right now, but the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre match was the match of the night. So, and plus I think Drew McIntyre, when it comes to cage matches, he did not win any cage matches. Well, since in WWE, maybe other companies and stuff like that, but did not win it when it comes to WWE when it comes to steel cage matches. So yeah, they had Drew McIntyre on the stretcher and wheel him out. So I don't know if it was during this match, but they mentioned that Drew McIntyre, he was hurt for a while and I guess he needed a bit of a break. So that's kind of like a storyline just to like get him out of there, just give him some time off. So probably will be like a month or two, my guess. Because I think they probably ain't gonna need him until the build up for SummerSlam, where him and Priest maybe can have a rematch or something like that. But the story might be over. You never know, but maybe they continue it. You never know, because as of late, WWE has done good as of late when it comes to like their rivalries with certain wrestlers. Yeah, and I think they they was doing a good job on that. But yep, Jey Uso defended the world title against Logan Paul, and Logan Paul did not win. Although Cena tried to came out and interfered. And I think the ref was, yeah, he pulled the ref, whatever. Then Jay ended up doing his finisher and ended up winning the match 1, 2, 3. Then after the match, Cena and Paul came out and start beating them up. Then out of nowhere, Cody's music hits. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's returning. So that's something big for the crowd. And it was a good timing actually, in my opinion. So they said this is why I said it probably won't be no WWE Championship match because of Cena and Logan Paul teaming up against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso at Money in the Bank. So it's a trick scenario. So I don't think that'll be right. But I think if LA Knight wins, maybe cash in on Cena at that same time, which could be possible. But I think they probably these cars, they're loud mufflers. But anyways, I think that they're if LA Knight wins, they probably will save that and have him maybe cashing on Cena like another time. So maybe hanging on to it a little bit longer than maybe besides Cody, because Cody can face Cena like at the Night of Champions and do whatever with that then. And I think LA Knight was saved like his Money in the Bank briefcase, but I'm not saying he's gonna cash it right away. But I just got a feeling that he's probably gonna be like Cena's final opponent for that Ruthless Aggression PLE was supposed to be after Christmas. Well, that one is not confirmed yet, but like all the other PLEs and stuff like that, except for some of the NXT PLEs and that last one, the Ruthless Aggression one, was supposed to be supposed to go after Christmas. So that's supposed to be Cena's last match, and maybe LA Knight will take it then if he still has the belt. So either way. So, that's, kind of like a scenario for them, from Saturday Night Main Event, then going to the Money in the Bank, which will be next Saturday. So, and plus they had 2 special events with that one and Worlds Collide with WWE and AAA. So, like I said, the Drew and Damian match was match of the night, and let's see, 5 matches, 2 hours. And try to make some of these matches longer than what they should be. Normally, Saturday Night Main Event would be like a very good rating with me, but I'm going to have to give it a 6. From 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give it a 6 because I can't believe, they still going over this quality over quantity and they can, try to do both. Just ridiculous. So, anyways, I grade this, grade it from like, it'll be a C+. So, I guess Saturday Night's Main Event, this one, C+. And, the number rating, a 6. So, that's that one. And let's see if we can find Battleground. But before, we get to Battleground, we're going to talk about, the Border Wars, but that was featuring with TNA. So let's do that and let's do the results. And we're not going to do the results right now, but we're going to just move some things around. So so first thing we're going to talk about is the results of Border Brawl. Which I did miss, the first hour of it because I thought it was going to be on 5 instead of 4. And I think, they had like a half an hour pre-show, whatever. So, and they was explaining how, the points and stuff happened. So, Ain't no points happened, victory over 1 minute, or there was no quick victory in under 5 minutes. So, and there was like no double countouts or anything like that. So it been like the standard point victory. So that's what happened. So first one, like I said, I really didn't see it, and Kelly appeared in backstage segment playing a heel and bragging about Team USA getting their first win before. Oh, okay, so that's okay. Okay, so I get who those women were. So I guess they bring Kelly in, and guess WWE is okay with that. So makes sense. Um, and yeah, Allie, yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen her, so she's there. So anyway, Sammy Callahan did beat William Trull, which is a point for the U.S. Oh, so okay, so they said 2 points were a quick victory under 5 minutes. So that's probably happened with Courtney Rush and Victoria Crawford. So Courtney Rush did win, so it probably was under 5 minutes. So I guess. Um, then Moose and JDC ended up being Shannon Decker and Jesse Beaver. Um, yeah. So I guess what more I can say. It was just a straight up victory, but at least the team that is unknown, give them the run for their money. Then Brutus the Barber Beefcake there to cut a backstage promo saying "Cheer for America." So this is another TNA WWE collaboration with at least they use some of their stars just to appear up there. So that's cool. Um, Champagne's in end up losing to Tommy Dreamer in a hardcore match. Hardcore match was kind of interesting, like because they was like using milk. It was just like out of this world. It's just using milk. You know what I mean? Then Cody Deaner did had a match against Frankie Kazarian, and Frankie did beat him. So once again, Cody just can't win. It sucks. Matt Hardy was seen backstage. Of course, he was attacked. The Northern Army. I think Eric Young did had a match at the main event. The Northern Army did beat Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. So I know Eric Young came out at the end, raised their hand and was just happy about it. So a win for the Canadians. So yeah, 4-3. USA is still up. Then the match with Tessa Blanchard and Jolie Threat was canceled because she wasn't cleared to wrestle. So Blanchard brought out Viperous. I think I remember her from like a match from the past. So yeah. And this is a great match with Santino Morella and Nick Nemeth. So Santino Morella did win it and it ended up being, a tie for 5 apiece for the USA and Canada. So the match really, it mainly just ended up in a tie. So it was no winner or anything like that because they found out that the system was attacking everybody and just said they don't care about this whatever. Then it was a match between I think it was Matt Hardy, Tommy Dreamer, Cody Deaner, Santino Morella, and Jolie Threat. Yeah, defeated the system. So yeah. So that did happen. So the winners, they did raise both the flags after the match. And it looked like it was going to be a brawl after that. But after that, I think that was it. Yeah, it wasn't. It was a brawl. They said it was claimed to be a battle royal, but nothing just came up after that. So it was just kind of weird. But yeah, Border Wars is interesting and is different concept because you didn't see like a U.S. and Canada war since WWE in the late '90s and in the 2000s as well. So yeah, this is interesting. by making the ending, more interesting, and I did like, how the ending went with, that. So, let's see, rating it, I'm actually going to rate this one at least a 9 out of 10. And I would grade it actually a solid A. Not A minus, not A plus, just a solid A. And like I said, give it a 9 out of 10. So, I thought it was a good concept, and especially in introducing the people to Zonify. And that's like a channel that you can watch free programming of, whatever. Kind of the same thing, with the, Roku channel and stuff like that. You get to watch stuff for free and add, their channels and whatever. So, that's the case maybe. But, yeah. So, a 9 and a solid A for that one. And, that dude don't leave me alone. I already know who that is. But anyways, let's get to Battleground before we get to AEW Double or Nothing. The longest pay-per-view there is with AEW Double or Nothing. So let's get the results, and y'all probably see right there. Yeah, it was a shocking moment, and yeah, Battleground, actually, they made history. But we would go to, which I think could be very close to match of the night. Although I didn't pick one for like Border Wars, I would probably say the hardcore match with Tommy Dreamer and Champagne Zine was the match of the night. But match of the night candidate with this one, so Luca did beat Kalani Jordan. It was all out there, and I'll probably miss like the first few minutes of it, but the match was still going on, and it's like, so Ruka be pulling that, cutter move from anywhere. She did, what was it like, let's see what they talk about it. So, of course, the Super Soul Snatcher from the top rope, she did like I think it was like a reverse moonsault, and ended up hitting Kalani with the cutter, and ended up winning it. 1, 2, 3, so she did retain, and Zarya was out there, just cheer her on. So, yeah, so that could be close to being match of the night. Next match, NXT Tag Team Championships, Hank and Tank with Josh Briggs going against the Cullen in a 6-person tag. So yeah, this was like all out there. So yeah, it was just crazy. But yeah, Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs did win their match. Finally, Josh Briggs got the win. Then afterwards, they all got attacked by the Cullen. Then, it was that one wrestler that, I think that Josh Briggs was tagged with, and let's see if they say his name right here. So, yeah, Yoshiki Imamura ended up returning and ended up, helping, the tag team champs and Josh Briggs out. Kind of made the save, so, and that was that. This was, I think, no. I know I got one match wrong overall on this one, but I kind of predicted this one, because if they wanted to push, stacks, winning over Tony D'Angelo was the way to do it. So, yeah, the match was something. It looked like, that Tony D'Angelo was going to win it, but Luca Crispino, I'm sorry if I say his name wrong, so he showed out there and just, watching the match. He didn't do anything. So Stacks ended up with a low blow and, ended up pinning D'Angelo 1, 2, 3, and Stacks ended up winning the match. So, it makes sense. So, yeah. So, Luca did try to hug, shake hand and hug D'Angelo. D'Angelo wasn't having it, because I think everybody's going to be out to get him. So, and I think, for now, it seems like it wasn't going to go that way. So, it's like a wait and see. So, I think Tuesday will be something, tomorrow will be something different for NXT. So, just a wait and watch. Anyways, the women's championship match, Stephanie Vincare, I think I got it right. Stephanie Vincare ended up defeating Jordan Grace with her first loss since joining the NXT roster. So I had like my thoughts on this, and like if Stephanie Van Cure ends up winning, then that means okay. So it's just normal thing. Maybe there'll one day be a rematch. But I was saying if Jordan Grace did win, then maybe Stephanie Van Cure would end up jumping into the main roster because she has some couple appearances on the Raw roster for like a bit. So yeah, like I said, classic match, no complaints and all that stuff. So it was a good match. So yeah, I kind of knew about this match too, and it would have been cool. Miles Bourne would have would have won it. But I thought, Charlie Dempsey was going to interfere, but nobody from the Order of Cash Crew did it. So, ended up finding one-on-one and ended up being a fair match. So, Obafemi did end up winning. Besides Miles Bourne efforts. But yeah, good match as well. So, of course, we lead to the shocker of the night. So, yeah, I'm declaring this, shocker of the night. Because, before that, they had, sorry, excuse me. Because they had the TNA president that was there, sitting there. So I thought, he probably would be at Border Wars, but I guess not. So he was there, for that match. And also, Mike Santana, made his NXT debut. He's another one that's from TNA. So, like I said, with the partnership with TNA and WWE, like it's working wonders. The only thing I have a problem with, with the like WWE side with NXT, they ain't using like they, at one point, they started with using Jordan Grace for for some of the stuff like last year when she was the Knockouts champ. So they was using her, but the thing is, like, I don't see them using like enough women on there. Like they did, some of last year, but I don't see them using the women from TNA recently. So kind of sucks, but I know they want to go with the people that put butts in seats. So that's probably what they was going for. So, but yeah, this was a real it was a good match, and although Trick Williams did cheat to win, and it was a shocker. So yeah. So I think he did like Williams did slam Henry onto the night title. Then he ended up hitting him with the trick shot. Then 1, 2, 3. I was shocked. I thought John Henry was going to kick out. I'm like, whoa, like really? If I would have did that like a live. I thought about that, but I'm like, okay, I'm trying to watch both, that and have Double or Nothing watching at the same time. So I think it would have been like a little bit more difficult for me to concentrate. So I just couldn't do it at the moment. And maybe I'll try again one day. But yeah, Trick Williams is now the TNA World Champion. So the first WWE star to win another promotions title like TNA. Then, because of course you got it with with Kenny Omega when AEW and TNA had their deal, but it wasn't really that much of a deal. It was just mainly having Kenny Omega just crossing over, but not everybody else. So I just find that was kind of weird. So that was a bad deal, and like I said, with the WWE TNA crossovers and stuff like that, it ended up being a better deal. So they got like a multi-year contract with that. So I think Joe Henry is going to probably end up winning it back, but if Trick Williams ended up holding longer than he should, and happy birthday to Trick Williams, it's his 31st birthday. I'm thinking he probably would have already been like called up. So I guess they got more things to deal with him in NXT. So it's like a wait and see. So anyways, I give the North American women's title match the match of the night. I had to give it to them because that was an awesome match and an awesome ending to it. So yeah, I thought it was good. And of course, this was the shocker of the night. It has to be. So with my rating of NXT Battleground, I know some people ain't gonna like it because they're gonna be saying how you can vote better for the NXT event than a WWE event, and you rated like the WWE event so badly. So yeah, A plus, 10 out of 10. So because they actually ended adding at least 6 matches, although the final match did drag a little bit longer than it should, but for like 2 hours and like 15 minutes, I believe, on the event. So yeah, it was like 2 hours and 15 minutes. So you know what? It dragged a little bit longer. Fair enough. You still get the men's, fit 6 matches in like a little bit over 2 hours. So that's all the everybody asked for. So you're not going to do like a 2.5 hour show and just going to do like oh, I'm just going to put 5 matches and that's it, and have like half of the time people talking. So that's the other problem with WWE, and I know I think the fans at the time don't care. They just happy to see him, and plus making special appearances and stuff like that. So I don't think they care. So A plus for Battleground and 10 out of 10 for it. So I think that's the first 10 out of 10 I ever done this year. So hey, could be a nomination for the running for some award. We'll see. So remember this: A plus and 10 out of 10. So we're gonna move on from that to AEW's Double or Nothing. Which because I know I talked to some friends like online today about I wasn't happy about the ending, and it's like I thought you would want like a fresh face to go for the title, and don't want the same people that already hold the title and stuff like that. So yeah, that was just my point of that, and it's just like,
oh no, that's right.
I'm sorry, but it's just part of me just think that it just didn't make sense. But anyways, I think some of my predictions I got on here was wrong, but like with the Battleground one, the only prediction I got wrong was the Trick Williams and Joe Hendry match. But you know what? It was a good shocker, and the story is like going to continue. So I wonder what Teenage plans are going to be with that. So, but Against All Odds is like next Friday, so it's going to be interesting just to see what's going to happen with TNA for the next 2 weeks. So, anyways, yeah, the results are Double or Nothing. So, the buy-in match, of course, Mega Bane and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. I didn't see that one, but I think, let's see. Let's see, Harley Cameron is skillful, escaping the potential dangerous Doomsday device scenario. Displaying a quick thinking, she ultimately scored. Okay, so Anna Jay and Harley Cameron did win the match. Okay. Then, another buy-in match that they added on the last minute. So, Tent Barrera, Rocky Romero, Leo Rush, and Accident Theory versus AR Fox, Bandito, Commander, and Hologram. I love the wrestler Hologram, so at least I'll get more opportunities, to see him. But I did not see this match. Like, it would have been interesting if I did, but Hologram, if AEW should be smart, they should, invest in Hologram, be, the future champion, world champion. Because, yeah, he is that good. So, let's see, from, okay, so, yeah, AR Fox, Bandito, Commander, and Hologram did win that match. So, interesting 8-man tag, so why not? So, I got to the beginning on this one. So, the Owen Hart Cup Tournament Women's Final, Mercedes Moe versus Jamie Hayter. Good match. I kind of knew who was going to win from the start because it was like written all over the, just written all over the match. But, women good. Jamie Hayter may would have won it again, but won the Cup final and ended up challenging Toni Storm for it. But I think some people probably didn't want to see that match happen again. So at least for a while. So she still will be in the picture. Maybe she can go for the TBS title. Maybe have a rematch against Mercedes Moe and end up winning the TBS title. Because I do not think they're going to have Mercedes Moe holding the TBS title and the women's title at the same time. But you know what? Crazy things happened before, and with AEW, I'm sorry, but some of the moves they do are just don't make any sense. And like I said, I'm with all wrestling. Like no matter who, I just hope all wrestling promotions have like a huge success. But it's like the same. It's like with AEW. It's like they mainly just picking favorites instead of like trying to like build up new faces. To carry their company. Even the person from the Indies and they suddenly they just make their debut and suddenly maybe like a year in they'll be like champion or something like that. So I guess that's something you're gonna want to wait and see, and we're not gonna get that. But I know Mercedes Moné hasn't been the AEW Women's Champion before, so it only pops up a little interest on that one. So anyways, then you have FTR versus Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia. I think FTR did win this one because the closing moments of the match I could not see it, and I was still watching Battleground as well. So like I said, I was watching back and forth. But yeah, the closing moments of the match, yeah. So let's see. So yeah, FTR did win the match. At the aftermath, saw visible distress from McGuinness, who required assistance from Tony Schiavone, and yeah, I saw that. Matt Menard due to injury sustained in a brutal encounter. So yeah, that's cool. Nigel McGuinness was still end up wrestling, although he probably couldn't do that in WWE when he was commentating. But what more can you do? I was thinking that this match was going to be match of the night, Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe, because it was bloody, it was brutal. And normally, I'm good for like, at least one match, had like, blood in it. But the thing is, but I'll get to that match later, but you don't want to have, at least like 2-3 matches, unless it's the main event. You don't want to have nobody, be bloody and all that stuff. Like if you had like one match, it'd be bloody. Then you have like a main event that's like bloody up. That's fine, but it's just me. I don't think 2 matches that had nothing to do with the main event that will have like blood in it. But that's just me. Good showing by both men. Rick. I guess they really gonna end up pushing Ricochet because he did win this match. Using the scissors on Mark Briscoe. I think he threw him in the ambulance and closed the doors, and that was it. So this was AEW's first ever stretcher match. So I guess a long time coming, and try to do something a little bit different that that they haven't done before. So I'll give them kudos for that. But yeah, Ricochet did win, and I guess they're gonna push him up a little bit more, and because he haven't won a title yet, so. Maybe this will start him winning something, either the TNT championship or the Continental or International title. Who knows? Then you got the AEW World Tag Title match. So, the match was a little bit brutal, and Her Syndicate defended against Ring of Honor Tag Champs, Sons of Texas. So I'm glad they ain't do no title for title or no unification match with these titles, so it just wouldn't be good. So yeah, the Hurt Syndicate did end up winning, and it's like Bobby Lashley speared that I like because it's different. Because you seen like starting, and you seeing most wrestlers now start doing the spear, but with Bobby Lashley's spear, he does it differently. Just trying to be different from the others, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I know, and MJF did try to, help them win and stuff like that, but they didn't need it, and, yeah, and they retained, but they did, shake hands with, MJF and left out of there with the win. Sad, but really sad, and, only saying this because I think Kazuchika Okada should at least lose the Continental title. At least this one. The game like started with something else, but I'm sorry, but it seems like he's gonna hold that title for like a very long time, and it seems like he's been holding it for like almost 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years. I think it'd be 2 years this fall when he ended up winning it from he ended up winning from Orange Cassidy, which I'm surprised he's not around at the moment. So yeah. Anyways, good showing by Speedball Mike Bailey and both Kazuki Okada. But yeah, Kazuki Okada ended up winning, and he's kind of dyed his hair to look like it's going gray and black, so it's kind of like confusing. So then we get to this crazy match. So I thought they never fought before, but they had fought at one time, and plus they was a team with who that Mariah May. So it was all them three together, and Mina wanted to get her shot. So very good match, and there was no interference or anything like that. But yeah, it was like crazy enough. But I think it got like some guy's wet dream going on with them ending up sharing a kiss for the moment. But but anyways, of course, Tony Storm ended up hitting her move, Storm Zero, and ended up pinning Mira to retain. And let's see. Okay, yeah, that's cool. They both shook hands and all that stuff. So after the match, so no hard feelings. So that's good. And this match, I would have to say, was match of the night. And Archie in the arena. So you got the Ops, and you got the Ops with okay, so there we go. Like the Ops with Simone Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Kazuyoki Shibata, Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, and Swerve Strickland. You might as well say Willow Nightingale is with the Ops. Might as well just add her in there. So why not? Nobody having their back when it comes to the Death Riders. So it was them against the Death Riders and the Young Bucks, which they dressed up in like they were like George Washington or something, trying to be like the founding father thing that they dressed up like. And all I did just shake my head and just like, what the hell? Maybe they're Amish, they're paying to like Memorial Day, so maybe that could have been it. That's just my guess. But yeah, this match was really deadly. Although if it had nothing to do with the main event and like a different match, had like blood in it, I don't know. I think they should save this one instead of like having like blood in the stretcher match, which it was very close to time. The stretcher match and Anarchy in the Arena. It was very close to being tied for like match in the night, but the Anarchy in the Arena, yeah, that was some crazy stuff. It really is. So yeah, the Ops, and I think it was the Ops, and because it was, yeah, the Ops with Willow Nightingale. They ended up locking up the the Death Riders. Like all the Death Riders were like in the emblems, and Mark Briscoe ended up helping them out too. So you know what? Why not? Still bloody with the shirt on and stuff like that. Okay, Gabe Kidd did see that. I must have missed that part. So he had intervention with a surprise wild card, bully assaulting the opponents and shifting momentum back towards Moxley's team. But yeah, I'm saying that having the Death Riders locking that ambulance, it was just so funny. So Swerve Strickland and I think it was Kenny Omega, they ended up beating the crap out of the Young Bucks, and I forgot what Kenny Omega did. He did like some move on I think it was Matt Johnson he did that on. So yeah, the move he did had happened. Then Swerve Strickland out of nowhere, Pierce Nana ended up giving him these shoes. I'm like, okay, his shoes that he partnership with Reebok. So like, okay, and I look at it like the last second when they were showing him on the top ropes before he jumped on Nicholas Jackson. And yeah, it was thumbtacks on the shoe. Yeah, thumbtacks on the shoe. End up getting him in his head, then end up, pinning him 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, like I said, match of the night. Thumbs up for that one. And, finally, the Death Riders kind of like, got what they deserve in a way, but ending of them is like far from over, so kind of sucks. But anyways, trios match, the Paragon, which they call themselves now, they was one known as the Undisputed Kingdom. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roger Strong went against the Dallas Callis families. There's Konosuke Tajika, then you got Josh Alexander, then you got Cloud Fletcher. Yeah, the Don Callis family did end up, winning this match, and like I said, this was a decent match as well, so ain't nothing taken between, all 6 men. But I'm sorry, but I just think that Josh Alexander either should have stayed with TNA or go to WWE. It's just right now, it's look like it ain't gonna work for him. It's like they ain't gonna push him anytime soon. So I don't know. Yeah, he has his reasons and he joined them, but I don't think they're right. But that's just my opinion, and he might think he did it for the right reasons, but that's his opinion too. But anyways, after the match that the Don Callis family did win, so okay, Fletcher did get the pinfall, so I just missed like the second of that one. Then, Archer, Rocky Romero, and Trip Beretta, that's part of the Don Callis family, end up, beating up Paragon. But it was some people from New Japan. Of course, Hiroshi Tanahashi interfered, and I think it was somebody else. I think it was God, what's his name? I know he's on there. Brody King, yeah. And Tomorrow Ishii, help out the Pentagon, and clear house. So, yeah, kind of interesting. So, another New Japan Pro Wrestling and AEW, working combination together once again. So, whatever. So, at least it was a good ending to the match. And the main event. I don't know why I was thinking there was like another match before this one. I was like, what, the AEW Championship? And I forgot. Ain't no AEW Championship match on this one. Because Jon Moxley was in the in the arena. So, that didn't work out. But, this could be, second for a match in the night if I would have, said so. But, in my opinion, this is what I was talking about, that I was talking to my friends about, because Heyman and Adam Page ended up winning. And I thought, Will Ospreay would have won because, they ever had, title match or anything like that. So maybe, okay, somebody new, whatever. So that will work. But although there's back and forth matches and, a lot of close falls, it did make the match interesting and it was pretty good. But yeah, Heyman ended up winning the match, and yeah, Will Ospreay, ended up losing. I think he had like a winning streak since the last lost the International Championship. So although it would have been great, have Will Ospreay end up challenge for Jon Moxley, so somebody different that he can't predict like what's going to happen. But well, I was telling my friends though, but I was saying that it just sucks that you have freaking Heyman and Adam Page going against Jon Moxley, and Heyman and Adam Page did had the AEW title at one point. I think he had it for like 6-7 months, I believe. But well, my friends just thinking that that okay, Adam Page is over. If it made sense. Okay, well, also did make sense that have a new person challenge Jon Moxley. Although I think Adam Page ended up challenging Jon Moxley before, and I think he ended up losing the title for the second time to him. So yeah, I think Moxley will end up being Hangman for the title the First time, either the first time or second time. It was one or two. But yeah, so it's set for Adam Page and John Moxley and fighting for the AEW Championship. So of course, I don't think they're gonna have anything in June. I believe. I think they will have like a special event, but that's pretty much it. But otherwise, no, their big pay per view, All In, which will be no in the states this time. And they did announce that Toronto will be getting All Out, which will be late September in Toronto. So yeah, end up being in the market. So yeah. Anyways, rating and grading it. I haven't rated any AEW matches for a while because I couldn't watch them at the time. But for the first time in like years, I finally watched it, majority of it. So let's see. For the grading, I would end up giving it a B plus. I would give it a B plus, and I will actually rated it an 8 out of 10. Because I think there was like I said, with the one, like if you had two of the matches bloody, then it'd be like one of those matches and a main event. But then again, that's my opinion, and I guess that's just how I see it. But so they just had the anarchy in the arena and the structure matches being all bloody and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, excuse me. So 8 out of 10 and a B plus for AEW pay per view. Because normally the last time I rated a AEW pay per view, I ended up giving it like a I never gave a PL pay per view a higher than an A at one point because I guess it gotta be like a pay per view with them or AEW that's just gotta wow me. So I didn't really have a pay per view by AEW that kind of like wow me. I think it did at one point when I first saw the I think it was like the November pay per view that they had a few years ago. But yeah, like I said, 8 out of 10 and a B plus. So I know some of y'all gonna complain like, no, it's not a B plus. It's better than A. It's an absolute A plus. But like I said, few key things, that they should have done different, and in my opinion. But these are my ratings, my opinion, and you can have your own. You can go ahead and comment below like what you graded all these pay per views that happened the past 3 days. So that'd be your call. So enough with wrestling for the evening, and before we go, we're gonna talk about a little bit of the Thunderbolts numbers. So at one point they were saying something about it was going to be they did reach over 380 million, but I let me see if I can refresh this and maybe they'll give me like the correct number, because it just sucks that they don't add people that go see it like daily, not like just weekends. So I don't get why the weekend box office always gotta matter. So anyways, yeah, so the 380 million, I guess they kind of lied about. So end up, they making so far 355.5 million, and it is still in theaters. So they might have it on there for the next maybe 2-3 weeks. So I'm gonna try to catch it again before it does go off on. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to keep that one. Sorry. So yeah, 355 million. I know they had to make at least like 400 to break even. So I think they still have an opportunity to do that if they keep it out there for the next I would say 3 weeks. It may hit that mark. It may well hit that mark. But I think with Brave New World, if they would have kept it a little bit longer, they probably would have broke even on that time too. But what more can you do? Like I said, still awesome movie, but I got a feeling that they're saying that they're gonna release it on Disney Plus in August. So wait for that, and so that means digital may not come out until July. That's just my guess. So it will kind of make sense because got the Fantastic Four coming up, then you got the Superman movie coming up, and plus like a lot of things that's going on, movie wise, things like that. And I still got to take my wife to see, watch Lilo and Stitch since that came out, and it did about its first weekend. I think it was like the biggest that it had so far, movie wise, this year. 355, no, what was it? 300 and, I think it was like 370 million or something like that. Something around there. So they grossed all that worldwide in the first weekend. So I don't know what their budget was, but I think most likely they probably just broke even with that number. And, beyond. But, the Thunderbolts did have like the best Tuesday opening ever. So I'm just glad, they finally, counted, some Tuesdays that people, watch it because, it ain't just about the weekend numbers. It's got to be like the weekday numbers as well. Because, some people, one day, okay, I'm just going to see a movie. I have nothing else to do. So why not? But especially, you got the deals with Tuesdays with Value Tuesday. So you got that going on. It's just like, why not? So, people didn't see the movie yet. I'm not going to spoil like the ending of it. But I think you should really go and see it. It is, worth it. So at least help them, try to break even. But anyways, it was one more thing we were going to talk about Marvel stuff before. Okay, that's what he's posting. Yeah, I kind of knew that. And plus, I got to go back to that again. So we're going to look at Marvel updates, and we're going to look at DC updates as well. So Tia Miller has been cast for Josaka in the Vision Quest series, which is currently filming. So, gonna be part of, the multiverse thing going on. Ooh, hiccups. So, that's and they, according to people that's like in the know about comics, she's actually ended up being the wife of Ultron. So we already knew that Ultron was going to return on this one. So just gonna be interesting to see Ultron and Vision fight back again. So. And plus, plans for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So they saying late July they're gonna start filming in London, and it's gonna wrap up sometime, before winter starts. So they give them enough time, and plus, a lot of time for them to do CGI and things like that what needed to be. So we still don't know that much about the story yet, but I think they say one of the reasons why they did put Doomsday into December instead of in May, because they wanted to do Spider-Man first before that, which I understand, and we'll see what happens. So like I said, we don't got that much of a story on Spider-Man, because now since they got they be going before Doomsday, they can do what they want. So that's mainly what they can do. But yeah, so I think most likely like they saying with this because if they doing like a big movie like Avengers Doomsday, they probably ain't gonna be done with it until the end of the year, from what it seems like. So they probably had opportunities add Spider-Man and uh sorry Tom Holland's Spider-Man character into it, maybe make a cameo or something like that. Okay, like somebody did point it out. So they also said Mark Ruffalo, which is Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, is going to be on Spider-Man's Brand New Day. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I know they was talking about doing things like Battle World and stuff like that. So maybe, and plus Eyes of Wakanda will be out in August, so fourth part episode. Mabel Kinda, I'm sorry if I said her name wrong, is rumored to return as Menorah on Avengers Doomsday. And, okay, Alex Livinzaya is set to return as Atma in Avengers Doomsday. So, and of course, Doomsday will be showing at the same time as Ice Age 6. I still haven't seen none of those movies yet, so I can't judge Ice Age for anything. So, And the Void is reportedly set to play a major role in Avengers Doomsday. So probably, Sentry, since he's gonna be in the movie anyway, so maybe you have a part to play in that one for like Doctor Doom. So let's look at some let's see, DC. Yeah, there we go. DC updates. So we'll just look at that one before we end the show. Almost an hour and a half. So I'm gonna try to do this real quickly. So bear in mind, let's just see if they have some news like when it's about anything DC. Oh, official poster banner for Superman. Okay, that was revealed today. All right, cool. Um, okay, so I guess a little bit, preview of Peacemaker, which is gonna be out in August. I think they did say the exact date, but I just forgot, when. Um, James Gunn said Peacemaker season 2 will include characters from Superman and the other parts of the DCU. So yeah, we probably already seen that in the preview already when they showed the preview. It was like about a week or two ago. Christopher McGuire says he included Green Lantern in his pitch for a Man of Steel sequel. Oh, okay, so no, that's something for the DCEU. DC Studios will be attending San Diego Comic Con this year with Peacemaker season 2. So they probably will show like more like trailer for that one. That's a possibility. Do look at Michael Rooker as Red Saint Wild in Peacemaker season 2. They already find something for that dude. He was on Suicide Squad and died, and now he's on Peacemaker. So yeah, crazy. Okay, look at Superman. So okay, so we thought they would be called like the Justice League, but they're called the Justice Gang. So Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, and Mister Terrific. So maybe they just building stuff up for to bring in end up calling themselves the Justice League. So that's a possibility, or they could be from another multiverse. That's a possibility. Um, as y'all probably already know, Supergirl did rap filming. I think it was like a couple weeks ago, and they started filming like I think like what was it in March? So yeah, not bad for 2 months for them to film it. So that gives them enough time, to do everything CGI if they had to do some reshoots. But I think they said Superman had to undo reshoots or just needed reshoots, but they haven't done it. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one I'm waiting for. New report from Insider Okay. Multi Susi reveals that DC's Injustice 3 video game is reportedly in early development at NetherRealm Studios. That's some good news. Okay. Of course, promotion of Superman and okay, Inside Day. I guess they're gonna talk about Superman and stuff like that. Orange Studios. Okay, so maybe it's just like another another trailer. The Batman 2 is reportedly set to start filming in London in early 2026. So, well, maybe they had time since they pushed it back from 2026 to 2027. So, still gives the Batman 2 some time. And I think y'all heard the stories about Clayface that they're gonna rewrite the script, which is like why. I don't know. I'm about to say they was approved with the script the first time, and suddenly no, you want to change your mind. Like seriously. I don't know. Okay, it's gonna be in China. Of course, Zachary Levi wants to play Shazam again in the GCU, which he could. He could be like a variant, so it could work. Virtual reality game is called Batman at Interside Game Box and is now available. To book. Okay, then just mainly like allow Superman and let's see. Millie Alcott, when asked by Jimmy Fallon on Tonight Show about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, we can say that I am Supergirl. common sense, but I guess we just want to know. Okay, the Robin and Teen Titans movie is expected to be Damian Wayne. Kind of understandable because I don't think they want to use like Dick Grayson or anything like that. Since they probably gonna, they said that the DCU will have like an evolved and older Batman. Then you have Dick Grayson as Nightwing. That's gonna be a little bit older. So July 7th, Los Angeles, Superman will prepare. Um, so 4 days before. Oh, it's not a bad figure. Yeah. Wait, life-size statues of Superman and Crypto are set to appear in select theaters worldwide. So I know Mike will want that. Okay, the costumes. Okay, then I think that's, yeah. Of course, with the Blue Beetle is gonna have a animated show, which will be, I think it'll be next year, I believe. Not sure. So they got a lot of stuff going on next year. So they got of course, maybe Creature Commandos season 2 maybe at the end of the year. Then they got the Lanterns next year. Okay, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and possibly Clayface, since now they saying they're gonna rewrite the script. But at least they got a little time if they want to change some things. But yeah, I won't keep y'all no longer. I appreciate y'all watching today's show. Now talk about comic books and wrestling. We talk about Milwaukee Bucks and also developments of Milwaukee, which I'll talk about Bucks enough today in a couple of videos, and of course there was nothing to talk about at development. So not that much news, and plus it's Memorial Day, and probably not much gonna go on. Everybody took off and stuff like that. So yeah, understandable. Anyways, you guys on Twitch, appreciate y'all watching. Please share the channel and let people know we do daily content like almost every day, but it might be a little bit shorter because yeah, the new job. Just to say I got a new job. So I'm gonna say that would be my third job. So yeah. But anyways, please share the content and let people know that we're doing this. So please share. So once again, thank you guys that's watching on Twitch. And after you guys on YouTube, you can like the video if you like the video. So I appreciate the likes that I got on the live so far. Excuse me. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Hopefully, we can do something in 2026, like do giveaways. So it could be anything that we could be thinking of. So there's a lot of ideas we have, but we just want to, decide, when it's time or when we hit to 1,000 subscribers. But we will do a giveaway if we get to 1,000 subscribers right away. So please, show your support. When we get close to that, 1,000, we'll probably talk about, what we will give away. So, could be anything. So, stay tuned for that. Also, 2,700 videos and counting, and also, check out the videos, and plus share the YouTube channel with everybody because there may be something that people would like. So, please, share the channel.
Share, we may have money to buy more cookies because his wife has got a sweet tooth, and there's no cookies in his household. Sorry.
Well, y'all heard her.
Just throwing that out there. My fat self has got a major sweet tooth.
Oh crap, we probably have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, we ain't got shit.
Yep, anyways, check out the website, WrestlingFansSpeakOut.weebly.com for upcoming events in the Midwest. Upcoming, fruit snacks. Always helpful and healthy. But, anyways, like I said, check out the website, WrestlingFansSpeakOut.weebly.com with upcoming events in the Midwest, wrestling-wise, meet and greets and stuff like that, too. And I know I got to update that this week to show you, the month of July of what's going on with, like, the meet and greets and stuff in the Midwest. So, check that out. I would say also, we're working on the merchandise store. So hopefully by around summertime it'll be up. So if you want to buy like the merch, yeah, we hopefully we will have it. Also, it is Memorial Day, so I hope everybody enjoyed their Memorial Day today. Even y'all barbecue or visit to a family member or friend's grave site that it was a soldier. So hopefully y'all visit them and wish them love. Also, it's Mental Health Awareness Month. Although this month is about to be over, but still check on your people, check on your friends, family, whoever, because they may need your help and they don't even realize it as of yet. So it could save a life. Thanks to our sponsors, Mike and Robin Thompson, and also thank Midwest Wrestling Collectibles. If you're interested in some wrestling merch, you can check out Midwest Wrestling Collectibles on Facebook. So once again, you guys, face up, man up, or woman up, and until the next video, you guys, you have a good night. See you later, and I appreciate y'all being on here. So until the next video, have a good one. Oops. Hit to end that live first. And then this one. And the stream and of course end this one. So have a good one, everybody.